Let's get you into Ole Miss football. They were hosting Oklahoma on Saturday without star wide receiver Trey Harris, who was sidelined with an injury. But it didn't look like it mattered. Opening drive, and the Rebs marched down the field, and Henry Parrish Jr. bulldozes his way in for the score, with, of course, the help from the O-line. Rebs go up 7-0. But the Sooners able to not only tie it, but then take a 14-10 lead at the half of a Jackson Arnold scramble right here out of the pocket, and then the pass to Jacob Jordan. But the Rebs clearly had a talk, and they came out firing to start the second half. Jackson Dart to Caden Prescorn to regain the lead, and from there they never looked back. Check this, the dart. This is my favorite shot that I shot all weekend. The dart from Dart to Jordan Walkins. It looks epic, but they say he was down at the 1. It don't matter though, because the big man, JJ Pegues, knows how to score from close range. He goes in on the outside, his 5th of the season. The Rebels back up the 2 TDs with 7 sacks in the second half to produce a second half masterclass to win this one, 26-14. Here's head coach Lane Kiffin and quarterback Jackson Dart on the mood in the locker room at halftime.
I think they were really concerned. You know, that's not a good feeling, and going to a game that everybody here thinks we're just supposed to win because the spread's a certain way, and all of a sudden, you know, we're just a team that's supposed to blow an SEC team out, you know, so I think that weighs in.
A lot of us were just, you know, honestly pissed off. You know, felt like we should be up a lot more points. You know, I feel like that could have been a few times this season in other games. So definitely was, you know, look in the mirror moment for us, and I was really happy with how the guys, you know, came out in the second half.
Okay, Rachel, so you had the up-close and personal view of the Ole Miss Rebels this weekend. What were your thoughts about what they were able to do from the first half to the second half?
Yeah, like first half, I'm sitting there going, wow, their season could be over right now. Like if they don't pick things up and change things up here, it's done. There's no hopes of college football playoffs. There's no hopes of anything more. It's a bowl game and that's it. But they came out in the second half and it truly looked like they flipped a switch. It was a completely different game. Obviously come out in that first offensive drive, score immediately, Jackson Dart to Caden Prescorn. And then from there, they kept rolling the defense and the offense playing complementary football, even special teams. There was a punt from their punter, Fraser Mason, down at the 2-yard line, and everyone was pumped up about it. It just felt like every single thing was clicking. If that's the team that they bring out every game, that second half team, they have a chance to do all the things that they want to do this season. But if they bring out the team that was there in the first half, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, well, what team are you going to bring out? And for them, I think it's trying to put together a complete performance. They did a lot of things in that second half they haven't been able to do this season, and they losses to both LSU and Oklahoma. They couldn't get up by 2 scores in the second half. This time they were able to do that, and that was the difference. And that's now, okay, how do we keep doing that from here on out?
I think when you look at this team as well, I think we're so used to seeing Lane Kiffin go as fast as possible. He's going to be super, super aggressive, right? And they also had a 4th down turnover on downs in the red zone early in the game. And you get into that second half, and it looks like Lane Kiffin kind of changes his mindset just a little bit. I think in that second half, he realized how good his defense was playing, right? And we've talked about what that defensive unit could be all year, especially in the trenches, the defensive line. I think we saw how dominant they can be over an offense that is not as good as it has been in the past, and just quite honestly was not as good. Oklahoma's offense was not as good as Ole Miss's defense, and Lane Kiffin decided to lean on it this time, right? So he's not necessarily as aggressive in the second half of the game. He's going to punt the ball a little bit more, but what was able to do is when you do put points on the board, you're going to put that Oklahoma offense in bad positions and let your defense cook. 7 sacks in the second half. They had ended up with 10 on the game, which actually sets a record for Oklahoma in sacks that they've allowed in a game.
That's the kind of record you don't want to allow.
That's the kind of record you don't want. But when you're able to do that and you're able to have a quarterback with happy feet like that in Jackson Arnold for Oklahoma because he's terrified of what JJ Pegues is going to do coming through that line, I think that set a standard there in the second half, and they were able to lean on it.
Well, Ole Miss' strength that's just come out, just plain and simple this season, is their defensive line, and I think it's far and away better than any other unit in this Ole Miss team, and I think that was proven in the second half. Still, at the same time, in the second half, the offense, you're talking about Memphis not passing the eye test. Outside of a couple plays in the second half, for me, Ole Miss has not really passed the eye test. Jackson Dart seems to have lost a little bit of confidence and not having that confidence with having Trey Harris there. Now, he spread the love. He hit 7 different receivers. And you can really tell when...
Got a Caden Prescorn sighting this week.
Right.
We've got a few different people sighting this week.
That is the telltale sign when an offense is trying to revive itself, is just look at how many receptions the tight end has, because that's their safety valve. But going into the game, Ole Miss was 78th in the country in red zone offense. They're now 81st. They went down against a team that is bottom 5 in the SEC defensively. Pretty much across pretty much in every category. I think this is, like we were talking about in the Memphis game, this is a game where you really should come out like other teams have against Oklahoma when they're really at their low point, switching out an offensive coordinator, putting in a quarterback that's still trying to regain his confidence after going out last week. And they really, I think Ole Miss fans left that stadium not feeling good. I mean, you had people leave, right? People were leaving at halftime?
Pretty much everyone was there. They were looking. Some of the student section left, but I mean, that's the student section.
pretty
You
good.
can't count that.
Yeah. We know how those go.
But I will say, like, I completely understand. I think the run game wasn't good. They talked about that in the post-game press conference. They wanted to see more
Less than 70 yards.
Yeah, they wanted to see more from the run game. But not having Trey Harris is big. Like, we know that. He's one of the best receivers in the entire of college football, and he's not out there. So that's a big target for Jackson not to have to throw to, and almost a bit of a safety net for him. So I feel like that's it's hard to judge their offense without him out on the field because that's one of their go-to guys, and he's not there. So I think if he comes back next week, that's obviously a big boost for them. The other thing on the defense, they're currently ranked number 1 in the nation in tackles for loss, number 2 in sacks. It's a very good defense. I think if you're Ole Miss, you got to lean on that. And
It's almost like if their offense played to their potential, they would be one of the best teams in the country, right, Avery?
Oh, yeah. I think that is what we talked about them being coming into the year all year. But still, so much to play for, still so much ahead of them. And ultimately, what we talked about with Memphis is like they got the job done. Ole Miss got the job done this week. They get a win. Let me bring up those SEC standings because they're crawling up them slowly but surely. Texas A&M gets the big win over LSU this weekend to stay undefeated in conference play. You got the Bulldogs, Texas, and Tennessee following up right after them. Give me that second page. Ole Miss now 9th in the SEC after their win over
close to the first
Oklahoma.
page.
We're trying not to even use the second page with these standings, but we have to so far. Still not where they want to be, but a good bit to play for with 4 games left to play, including Georgia on November the 9th.